All right, guys, welcome back to the show. And yes, like we said, we have our guest in the studio. He's Paul Akinyemi Thomson, and we've done like a profile of what he's doing. Is like I said, the founder of Comfort Empowerment and Advocacy, very much in the lines of empowering both men and women. But before we even go into, let's start with the Advocacy Foundation. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Here.
Can you give us some context into the prevalence of sexual violence that goes on among women, but most importantly, men first?
Well, to be sincere, right, I think because people look at men as being masculine, very strong, like you're not supposed to break. But the reality is that 40% of domestic violence victims are actually men. But the fact is, society make it to look like you shouldn't be able to express yourself. Even if you do, you're gonna look like you don't even know what you're saying. Especially in Nigeria, we're like, oh, your wife is beating you, like for real, so nobody's going to take you serious. So men too go through a lot of domestic violence, but the fact is nobody takes them serious. So the goal is to make sure that domestic violence affect everybody, irrespective of your gender or who you are. So, and to be sincere, right, 1 in 4 men have been through domestic violence.
1 in 4 men?
Yeah, 1 in 4, that's a fact.
Okay.
You can check it. And 1 in 25 men have actually been physically abused by their wife or by their girlfriend. So men too, they suffer, but the fact is they don't talk about it. That's the main reason. But thanks for the show. We're going to keep talking about it too.
I'm glad you mentioned that men suffer about this. Now I want to ask, is there a difference between, domestic violence with the men and women? And when I say difference, with their physical, there's emotional, but can you elaborate on it for us?
Well, domestic violence abuse is an abuse. It doesn't matter if you're a male or a female. It could be pushing, it could be, talk down, it could be anything.
Okay.
And some men, like I've seen some women. Okay, let me give an example. About 2 days ago, there's a man in my DM, just trying to speak to her, the wife actually abuses him emotionally, and he's taking a toll. He was asking me, what can I do? And I was like, you need to talk to our counselor. I'm not in the best position to tell you what to do, but that's what they do.
Okay.
That's their profession. So they'll be the one the one to tell you what to do or what not to do. So the abuse and abuse, there's no reason for that. There's no difference between you slapping someone or you cussing out someone. It's an abuse. So,
well, why don't men talk about it? Why is it so hard for men to articulate their feelings when it comes to abuse? Why? Both domestic and sexual.
I think it's a society, seriously, because like I said, the word male, it shows that you're very powerful, you're very strong, nothing breaks you. But sometimes as a man, you need a break too. We need, the solution I think that can help on that is we need to make it relatable. It shouldn't be about just women alone.
Okay.
Because people think domestic violence is only about women. No. Men too. So we have to make it because in the United States where I'm from, on every day, almost every day we see something called PSA, public service announcement on TV, almost every day. So when you continue seeing that, you're more likely to relate to it. And as a man, you can actually, be expressive about it. And Nigeria is a kind of a society which is male dominated. So when you tell your friend, my wife, slapped me, they were like, are you sure? And you feel so shy, even ashamed to express yourself. So we have to keep talking, like what you guys are doing right now.
Okay.
We have to keep doing it, keep talking about it. Before you know it, we have to start reorienting our young male and young female, let them know the reason, things that is abuse, things that is not considered an abuse. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. Okay, going back, you talked about statistics earlier, and you also talked about, how 1 in 25 men are abused, and then also 1 in 4.
Right.
Generally, with awareness like this, this is Nigeria, Africa.
Right.
Could it be that, like you've mentioned, could it be that it is because of our tradition, and tradition supports that men should not, hold it in? Could that be what the situation is?
No, it's not tradition. I mean, abuse happens in America too.
Okay.
It's everywhere. It's not just. It's just not.
No, I'm saying tradition in the sense that could it be tradition that men are not supposed to, express their emotional side to say,
Yeah.
hey, this woman is, abusing me sexually, domestically, any other type of way you look at it? Could it be that? And if it's that, how can we break through this tradition?
Like I said, advocacy, first of all. Because when I say advocacy, because okay, let me give an example. I went to Unilag, I think a month ago that I was in Nigeria, and I was speaking to a lady and a man, and the two of them, they were really shocked when I was telling them about domestic violence. The two of them asked me, what is domestic violence? And I was like, wow. I was kind of shocked, like, so for the fact that they don't even know it, and they're college students. So it means that there's a lack of education, lack of awareness about that, about stuff going on. So tradition or no tradition, if you keep talking about it, they keep seeing it on TV with the help of the right organization, the government, whatever, I think men are gonna feel more comfortable, more relaxed. Okay. And we can also create like a center where men can feel, can call it like anonymously, like nobody needs to know about it.
Okay.
Yeah. We have a system like that works in our own organization, like pertaining to that.
Okay.
So just make it relatable.
How does domestic violence against men differ from that of women, and in terms of dynamics and outcomes?
There's no different. Like I said, wow. I've said that there's abuse and abuse. I think the people that abuse other people, like a male, if a male should abuse a female, they actually learn this from their own parent. This is a learned behavior from childhood, like when you watch your dad or your mom, cussing out your dad, or your mom or your dad beating like a female. When you see that, you think that's a normal thing, and when you grow up and you are more likely to repeat the same action, when you grow up. And sometimes to a girl, it's kind of really, really bad when a girl like being in a relationship and maybe she's talking to a guy and the guy is kind of like very calm. He's not like a very troublesome person.
Aggressive person.
Yeah, she's gonna look the guy like she's not really smart, like because she want the reaction like fight me, and the guy is a calm person. So that relationship is not gonna even last. So because she's trying to recreate what happens to her when she was a child, So like I said, it's more about be expressive about it, be open about it, talk to the right people, and before you know it, because change doesn't happen overnight though. It takes time. It takes time.
Okay, so let's in a way put into context what, I know you've elaborated about it already, but let's put into context what sexual abuse is. Like you mentioned, domestic abuse, sexual abuse itself. What is that?
Any sexual contact that is not consented is sexual abuse. Okay. Like when you're trying to like touch a lady, because sometimes the lady has the right to a body.
Yes.
So
but any case for men now.
And to men too. Let me tell you, men to go through domestic violence, like sexual violence. I was actually molested as a kid too. Okay. I didn't even know what that was until I grew up and I started thinking, wow, this is what happens to me. So I think it's both sides. So anything that you don't consent to, it is actually like you don't give them the right to do anything to your body, then it's not it's a sexual violence situation. Because like this happens most of the time when they're like actually drunk, and both men and female too though. Don't okay. Because I've been like I've seen like an aggressive lady trying to like I didn't give her consent to do all of that, and because she was really, really aggressive, drunk, she was just trying to touch me. I was like, just calm.
Okay.
Right, because I'm not consenting to that. So anything that you don't approve of, then it is a sexual violence, like for real.
Okay, so what can family, friends do to support male victims, and how do we break the silence? And I'm sure you also have experiences of men who've gone through it. Let me even first ask you, those men, can you just briefly describe some of the experiences and how they're able to overcome it? Okay,
there's another situation. These men, they have like a twin girl, and the wife for some reason took the kids away to the family, and he wouldn't let this man to see the kid, and this man is like going crazy, So that happens all the time, and you'll be wondering why. And the funny thing is, the case is they actually pay for it, without knowingly or not knowing. Okay. And the fact is, even sexual violence, domestic violence, what we need to do is, family need to understand that this is no more family matter. Because that's what people will tell you. It's a family matter. Go and settle it. Go and do all of those things. And the reality is, a lot of people die from domestic violence and sexual violence. Yeah. like for real, both male and female. Though the statistics for male is a little bit low, but they're still human too, you know. So the family needs to understand that when someone, like when your daughter come home and tell you someone abuses them, either physically or emotionally or sexually, don't say, hey, it's your husband, go and say to it. You have to be involved in their lives. You have to make sure that, because this can actually mess with your mental health. Yeah, for real.
But in the case where we don't have counselors, you know how you just said now that don't say go and settle with your husband because it's a natural thing. We don't have counselors here in Nigeria.
Well,
like that.
That's why the organization I'm from,
okay,
we provide that kind of service. We provide like anonymous counseling.
Okay.
We have lawyers that they can talk to you if you don't want people to know what's going on, and they have people that we advise you. So the thing is, we also need to seek help from the right organization, like the government. The government has to be involved, like really.
How can the government be involved?
How can the government be involved?
Yeah, because you say the government being involved, right? I'm looking at Nigeria as a third world nation where the government here would tell you that they have a little more pressing issues than,
Well, domestic violence or sexual violence.
So how can the government be involved? So what are the areas that you think the government can key into to...
First of all, advocacy.
Okay.
Though we've been doing some of that, but it has to be more. Like, for example, now, because from the beginning I said this is a learned behavior, right? We need to start reorientating the young boys, because there was a study in Kenya actually where the government was involved. They go to schools, like primary schools, secondary schools, they talk to kids, and like they tell the male kid, like, if you see your friend trying to abuse, like attack a female, try to stop them. And they realized that there was a 40% drop in abuse from kids. Like the study took about 2 years, so because the government was involved in that. So in this situation, like now that we are talking, the government has to be involved. It's not like no more family matter. People die from it. People learn this from childhood, and we can reorientate that. We can do better as a society.
But what resources are available? Because we're just talking about, they need help, but practical help. What are the practical help resources, shelter, counseling services that probably should be made available for both men and women who are going through this? Because every time we talk about these things, we need practical solutions. So what are some of those things that are practical that can work to help?
Okay, that's a very good question. I think there were, right now, safe, comfort empowerment, we are building a safe house. Because I spoke to some victim about it, and I realized that many of the victims of domestic violence, they're actually stuck with their abusers. There's no place to go. Many of these people don't have a job. Many of these people rely on the person abusing them. So first of all, like right now, we have a safe house that we are building a safe house that is going to be temporary. Then when you come in, we can ask you, what help can we do for you? Do you want to learn any skill? We can help you to get that done. Do you want to, like, whatever you want to do? That's one practical one. Second, we have to continue doing the PSA, public service announcement. We have to go to churches, mosques, though we've been doing all of that too.
Okay.
But we just want to do on a larger scales. So you have to let them understand that if you don't, the reason why many people are stuck, they don't have a job. You have to make them understand you can get a job. You matter too. Like, make it relatable. Because when you make something relatable with people, they're more likely to say, oh, that has happened to me before. So the safe house is just one of the things that we're just trying to do.
Okay.
But